League tonight.
After last week's break for the Championship, we're back with all the drama from all three divisions of the Sky Bet Football League, including a scoring goalkeeper, injured referees and two brothers in opposing goals.
Adam Virgo is back this evening, as am I. Obviously some much less impressive achievement than the players who returned to club action today after booking their passage to France next summer with both Northern Ireland and with Wales.
Yes, Stuart Dallas was in the Leeds United starting lineup after helping Northern Ireland reach the Euro 2016 finals. The Championship leaders Brighton were today's visitors to Elland Road. That's where we start. Commentary here from Paul Walker.
Goes long. Looks pretty poor in the end. And Marco Silvestri can gather it, but that wasn't the greatest ball forward from Gordon Greer. Cooper's clearance for Leeds. Bong is there. Rosinia finding Kayal, spotted a gap. He's gone through it. He's beaten 2 or 3 there. That's a lovely ball as well for Solly March, who's in for Brighton. Solly March scores! It's his first league goal for Brighton since December 2014. Drives his way through, beats 2 or 3 white shirts, and March on the overlap sticks it away beautifully. And Leeds, yet again, are behind at home. All very tight and congested on this near touchline. Wootton. Wood. Well, foul has been given. Chris Wood having his shirt pulled by Lewis Dunk. It's Mowat who bends it in. Great delivery! It's Liam Cooper! How much contact he actually made was debatable. But there is an almighty roar around Elland Road now. They were behind for just 8 minutes, and Liam Cooper has brought Leeds United level at Elland Road. It's a terrific ball in. Cooper gets something on it and flicks it into the corner. It's a really good leap and manages to make contact just to take it away from David Stockdale and into the bottom corner of the net. Cook, cheaply given away to Solly March, who releases Baldock. He's got a lot of ground to cover here. Rosinia in acres over on the right-hand side, and that's where it's heading. He's found him as well. It's Liam Rosinia back for Dale Stephens! And comfortable in the end for Silvestri. A really bright counter-attacking move. Rosinia could have potentially had a go himself, but opted to pull it back for Stephens. Ahmed's touch, picked up by Adeyemi. Still Adeyemi, chance to drive through, and Bong trips him just outside the area. Well, that's a silly foul, really, from Gaëtan Bong. And this is in a really good area for Leeds. It is Mowat, straight down the middle, Wood! Oh, a glaring miss from Chris Wood. Uwe Rosler on the sidelines, cannot believe it. What a miss this is. Bang in the middle of the goal. And Chris Wood somehow manages to put it wide. Wootton. And this is Bataka. A lot of traffic to get through. Well, he plays a lovely 1-2 with Cook. It's Bataka. Disappointing end, but it is a corner. And the two youngsters combining beautifully there to fashion an opening. And when Bataka has the chance to cross, it wasn't the best. And Leeds have to settle for the corner. Mowat sends it in. Oh, it could go anywhere, this! And it's over the bar in the end. And Chris Wood has his hands on his head. And Lewis Dunk hammers it straight off Tom Ahmed and eventually loops off Wood. Mowat closing him down and almost leading to a goal. Incredible passage of play there, and Stockdale very nearly embarrassed. This is just a routine clearance. You see 100 of these in a game. Now March against Berardi. He's got Berardi on the back foot here. It's Solly March. Goes for goal again! Terrific effort! But for a lick of paint, Brighton would be 2-1 up. Danger not clear yet. Kayal, Baldock, and now Bong. They're queuing up in the middle here, and it's deflected behind from Crofts' effort. What an effort this is from Solly March. A scorer in the first half and almost on the score sheet in the second. Terrific drive. Silvestri was nowhere near it. And the crossbar coming to Leeds' rescue. Well, they've got a corner to defend here. Stevens sent it in, hooked up in the air. Dunk was in there. Oh, great save, Silvestri with his legs. I'm not sure how much he knew about that one. Well, what a passage of play there. Leeds' goalkeeper needing to be sharp here. Dunk winning the initial header, and I think it's Hemed with a back heel. Kayal sidestepping Bamba, and Cooper comes across to help out his captain, and he's bashed his knee as well in the process. He threw his body on the line there, because Kayal gets away from Bamba, and there's a clash of knees there, I think. And that does hurt, there you can see. Well, he's got a big 8 minutes or so now to try and get his first home win of the season. Uwe Rosler trying to get some important details onto his players. Well, it has been a much improved performance from this Leeds United team. I think they'll take confidence even if they don't win. But I don't think he's going to be able to continue here, which will give Leeds a problem because they've used all 3 substitutes. From utter joy to utter disappointment from Liam Cooper. So Leeds are going to have to play on with 10 men. This is Bong driving forward, and now Bobby Zamora! Oh, he scores! Well, what a story this is! Leeds caught late on again. And it's Bobby Zamora back in the goals for Albion for the first time since rejoining. More heartache for Leeds United at Ellen Road. And Bobby Zamora manages to dink it beyond Silvestri. It's a lovely finish. But Leeds' long wait for a home win about to continue. And Brighton possibly leaving here with 3 big points, courtesy of Bobby Zamora.
Pleased to get that goal, you know. A lot of people have been asking when's it going to come, but yeah, pleased to score.
Must be pleased with the finish as well, the way you took it.
Yeah, nice finish. 89 minutes again. So yeah, I was pleased with that, and yeah, just pleased with the 3 points really.
I think the crowd came today and say, show us something what you're about, and I think the lads responded very well to that. We really had a goal against the best team in the league. There was 3 key moments in the game. Obviously their first attack, they scored. Ball bounced into their way before they scored. Second key moment is obviously after we scored, Chris Wood's chance that we go ahead. The third key moment is the injury of Liam, but always can happen. And but never mind, I was very happy, like you said, the way we responded. We played as a team, and the crowd got right behind us.
I think we showed a lot of resilience. I think we needed to, because here is always a very tough place to go. And I suppose towards the end, everybody felt it was going to be a draw, but a testament to the quality that we've got at this particular moment, that we was desperate to get that win.
But it's no wins in 11 home games, which is a new record for Leeds. The Seagulls, however, are flying. We've got one former Brighton player, Adam, in the studio, but we're about to be joined by another. Now, he left the Amex after 4 years at the club last summer to join Luton, so he's hot-footed it here from their game at Crawley this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig McHale-Smith. we'll get to your game a little bit later on. We're going to make everybody wait until we get to get that game a bit later on. Talk to me first, though, about Bobby Zamora and this return that he's had to Brighton. It was all set up for the fairy tale. Now he's got a goal that's gotten 3 points today. Yeah,
it's fantastic for the club. Obviously, he's a massive legend there. When I was there, the 4 years I was there's pictures of him everywhere and talking about him all the time. So for him to go back to the club, it's fantastic, and I think you can see kind of what impact he's had in the squad, and for him to come on and score the last-minute winner, it's fantastic for him and the team.
Probably helps him as well that the team are doing so well at the moment, and there comes a point when it changes from a good start to the season to a genuine title challenge. Have Brighton crossed that line now?
They're getting there. I still think there's a few more games. I think once they get to around Christmas, I think the boys will start looking at it and feel that they're in contention to push on and really kind of stake a claim to get promoted.
Yeah, so keep a lid on it just for the moment, just until we get to Christmas. But, you know, we're looking at players who've come back from international breaks. Stuart Dallas playing for Leeds today, came off just after an hour. How difficult is it to come back from an international break, or is it easier when, like Stuart Dallas, you've had a great time when you've been away?
Obviously, I think he's had a fantastic time. I think they had a few good nights out with the qualification. But yeah, it's quite hard. You go back, the physios look after you and make sure you're ready to go for the weekend. But obviously, the squads are quite big now and they've got great quality in them, so they can rest players and bring other people in.
Well, Craig, we'll talk to you a little bit later on. But now, George, let's get some more goals.
Yeah, we both enjoyed that game today.
We certainly did, yes.
Possibly one of us more than the other. Leeds' former boss Neil Redfern is back in football management. His first game in charge of Rotherham was at Brentford today. And you watched this one, Andy?
Yeah, and I thought it was a really, really good game today, George. And Neil Redfern coming in as a new manager has got a lot to prove. And he said in the interview afterward, it's up to his players to take opportunities. And Lee Carsley, tough start to managerial career, and he finally got his first win of the game. But when you play at Brentford, it's a small pitch, and you can really play on the front foot. And he would have been delighted with the start that his side made. And Alan Judge, I don't think will score a better volley in his career. And when it's headed out here, most people would have used their laces to try and tip it back over the keeper.
Tell me how good that technique is.
It's a difficult technique because he's side-footing it. And to use the control of the ball that came out was a fantastic finish. But to give credit to Rotherham, the way that they reacted after the goals that they conceded today was really good. And this was Maguire the chance. Took up some good positions in the first half. And I think they'd have been pleased with that. They went 4-4-2 today, so I felt they created a lot more chances with Clark Harris up front and Derbyshire as well. But when I was talking about playing on the front foot, this is a prime example. Joe Mattock showed great strength. And I say Button in the goal stood absolutely no chance.
That one was off the laces.
Oh, he was. And it's nothing better seeing a left-footed strike. Great strength. Pushes him off the ball.
No foul?
No, not at all. It's a great bit of strength. And he's only got one thing in his mind from there. But I've said it before, I just feel Rotherham's concentration at the back may cost them. And again, this is the situation. It's a great ball in from Jack Bidwell. Maguire switched off. And Alan Judge, again, he's not tall. So when you go into the dressing room after the game, you'd be disappointed that a player like his size got a free header. But I was pleased with Rotherham's performance today because they've had a good run, good results against Cardiff along the way. So it's a tough job for Neil Redfern, of course, but it was a really enjoyable game, actually.
Well, let's get a bit of reaction to that. After the game, the new Rotherham manager told us that he'd now approach team selection with an open mind.
These boys have got an opportunity. You know, that is the thing. We've got to assess the squad. We've got to look at everybody that's here. Like you say, I'm new into the job. You know, this is the first game. I've got to look at, you know, I put a side out, I've got to look at how they perform. There's other players that might have to come in now into contention because we've got one or two knocks and bumps. You know, and you've got to try and assess as quickly as you can, you know, and try and pick results up with it. But the idea is to get, you know, a side out and try and get it settled down, get a settled way of playing, and you know, and kick on from there.
And we'll have news of another new manager's first game a little later on. Next up, though, we'll be looking at the situation near the top of the Championship.
Welcome back to Football League tonight. We have already seen this morning's Championship leaders Brighton snatching a late winner at Leeds. What, though, about the chasing pack?
Well, Middlesbrough had won 5 in a row before losing at Reading last time out. And their match at home to Fulham was watched by Chris Ford.
If Aitor Karanka is to get Middlesbrough back into the Premier League, then home form will be key. Fulham have similar ambitions, and Ross McCormack missed the first big opportunity. Stuart Downing came back to Middlesbrough with the sole aim of helping his hometown team get promoted. His shot fooled half the crowd as it was caught up in the wrong side of the netting. There had only ever been one previous 0-0 between these sides in Middlesbrough, Albert Adoma did his best to try and stop it being 2, but his shot was straight at Andy Lonergan. Dimi Konstantopoulos had to be more agile to stop McCormack's late effort. One strong hand enough to see the game end 0-0.
That draw meant Reading had the chance to close the gap on Middlesbrough, but their erratic form at the Medeski Stadium threatened to return as Lucas Piazon went close. Charlton's problems are more acute. They haven't won since the hazy days of August, and their plight worsened when Patrick Bauer's rash challenge on Nick Blackman cost him a second yellow card and an early bath. Reading weren't able to punish the visitors from the resulting free kick, but they did capitalise shortly afterwards. Blackman lurking with intent at the far post for a 10th goal of the season, and that result means Steve Clarke's side march on.
Chris Ramsey may have to find an extra space on his bench, with news that former QPR boss Neil Warnock has rejoined the club as a first-team advisor. He says he's primarily a sounding board for Ramsey. Matt Phillips got the first goal for the new-look management team, thanks to a Jonathan Grounds deflection. Warnock may have a few things to say about the defending for the equaliser. Paul Robinson hadn't scored a league goal in almost 8 years. He met Damari Gray's free kick with a firm diving header to get Gary Rowett's side back into the game. After setting up the first goal for Phillips, Neda Manure was involved in the third of the game, but not how he'd have wanted. His climb on Clayton Donaldson was punished. Paul Caddis took responsibility and scored his second penalty of the season as Birmingham completed the turnaround.
He's been promoted quite a few times, and he knows this league well. And it'd be a situation where we're trying to tap into his knowledge and his wealth of experience in this division. And I'm sure he's been in very sticky situations in the past, and I'd like to see what he's got to offer.
Well, lying in 5th this morning behind Birmingham and Reading on goal difference were Hull City. They went to Sheffield today to face one of the division's in-form teams.
Yes, Wednesday have won the last 3 on the spin. Watching this one, Gary Birtles and Daniel Mann.
Lucas João doing brilliantly there, and here's Kieran Lee. Well, Dawson's challenge deemed reasonable by the referee.
Well, I thought it was a hint of handball as well on the edge of the box from João when he pulled that down. Referee was in a great position to see that. That's handball. Straight away he's handled it. They back off, they stop. That's not a penalty for me either.
And this is Barry Bannon. Oh, and turned away by Huddleston. Wallace. Can he deliver? Yes, he can, but Dawson is there. Lee's battling for it. Where will it drop? It will drop beautifully for Forestieri. He steered it in beautifully to give Sheffield Wednesday the breakthrough.
There's a header there by Michael Dawson, and they just don't deal with it. Is it El Mohammadi coming off the line there? It is. What was he thinking, not getting off the line there? Well, that's one of his strengths. When it comes into those sort of areas, he is a poacher. Well, that's shocker.
Oh, and Hernandez on the receiving end of it. Hutchinson knew immediately.
Off the floor, round the ankle. That is reckless, and that's red for me. Just a yellow.
Livermore. Oh, and he had to get fingertips on that, Westwood.
Well, he's had nothing to do, but tell you what, this looked like it was creeping in the bottom corner. Look at that, that's just skidding towards. No, it's not, it's going wide. But he does know that. Still a good save, that is, for me.
Lucas João. Oh, he's done tremendously well there. Brilliant play. Oh! And it might still fall for Forestieri, trying to walk it in, and Hull escape.
Well, I've got a big smile on my face here. João again, just putting that smile on my face. I've just been so delighted with what I've seen from him.
Well, look at Giles again, back it in, using his strength, turning Michael Dawson. There, barges him to the ground, gets his shot away. McGregor gets lucky there. Perhaps should have done better, and Hull City get a little bit lucky in the end.
Forestieri trying to make inroads here against Odebaggio, and he'll succeed. It's Kieran Lee, danced away from Davis. Barry Bannon. Oh, the stage was set for him to give Wednesday a commanding lead, and he fluffed his lines.
Forestieri was brilliant there. His desire and determination here. He looked second favourite all along there. I thought he was just going to volley it there, but the first touch is a good one, just the finish isn't.
Nakpom foraging here. Oh, and beyond Hernandez, Maloney can retrieve. Livermore, oh, that's very nicely done, Maloney. Livermore, well, somehow it was blocked. Hernandez! A man who's been all the way round the world this week is now on top of it because he's got Hull City level.
What a bit of goalmouth action this was. This is what you want to see. Absolutely fantastic. Ball pinging everywhere. The manager will say, what a great piece of management that was. What a great substitution I made there. And you've got to say, you've got to agree with him. Beautifully played in, and what a way to pass that was. Westwood does well, he does well again, and you think the chance has gone, but there, one touch, he's confident enough to take that on.
El Mohammadi in there towards Hernandez.
Well, that's one of the only crosses he's got in so far. El Mohammadi, and it's an absolute cracker. Makes his mind up, nobody closes him down. Look at Hernandez, gets across, and what a save that is.
Lee. Bannon. Lee will take it on, but Odebaggio will rob him. Huddleston. Forestieri. That's a free kick which he's got. He was certainly clipped by El Mohammadi.
He's been down on the floor many times this afternoon. Forestieri.
In towards New Hughes. In there! Oh! Well, it came off Robertson. And McGregor's reactions were so sharp.
Well, save of the match. Really was. Outstanding save. Didn't know a lot about it, but had his wits around him. Delivery is excellent again. Just hits him, doesn't know a lot about it. That's a magnificent save, you know. Has to react, get down quickly. A big, strong hand of it.
Kudo preparing himself to hurl it. Going to get around Nuhu for what comes off him. Dawson is up there. Hutchinson hoping to get on the end of it. Nuhu with some neat feet, but the referee is out of action here.
Oh, he just gets cleaned out.
Chuba Akpom.
God, right through the back there.
We gave an awful goal away, and that disrupted us really. After a bright start for 25 minutes, I thought we were lively, but the goal rocked us back a bit. And second half, we opened a little bit more, and we looked a bit more forward and trying to be a bit more positive. There was too many times in the first half where we were too slow in possession.
It was a good game, very competitive game, typical from Championship, with two teams, I think, two teams very strong, because Hull City is very strong. It to us was fantastic because our players against one of the strongest team, they did very well, and I'm very happy about the players, what they did.
Yeah, best wishes to the referee. Keith Stroud looked a nasty one, that, although he didn't need the stretcher that was sent on, so we hope he's all right.
Yeah, just walked off. Now, we've seen this morning's top 5 teams, so in a moment we'll take a look at how the teams at the other end of the Championship got on. Hello again. Now, of all the Championship squads basking in the glow of Euro 2016 qualification, the most luminous are Nottingham Forest.
David Vaughan and on loan Johnny Williams both featured for Wales at home to Andorra on Tuesday night, while Jamie Ward played at Windsor Park as Northern Ireland beat Greece to seal their place in France next summer.
Last night, Forest were at Bristol City, who were looking for their first home win of the season. Don Goodman and Gary Weaver are your commentators.
Wilbraham using his chest to great effect. Here's Freeman. Wilbraham again. Now it's Bennett. 4 to hit in the middle here. Just over the head of Codger. But this is Aaron Wilbraham. Well, that is what Bristol City needed.
That's a wonderful touch from the chest, and then he makes himself available there again. Aaron Wilbraham lays the ball out and then gets into an area where you can get on the end of crosses, and it's Codger's little flick that finds Wilbraham. It's a very important little touch from Jonathan Codger.
Codger has Kelvin Wilson for company. Wants the free kick.
Yeah. That's remarkable, isn't it? Literally 2 yards away, the assistant.
There's Wilbraham. This could be contentious. Wilbraham! There's no stopping him!
Kelvin Wilson's got a problem because he's marking Codger. And Wilbraham drifts in behind him. Brilliant ball in, and an excellent header.
The head of O'Grady and Hobbs, kept out by fielding. Great reactions.
Just his feet brilliantly, the centre-half, and then he does the only thing he can, which is divert the ball forward.
This is Freeman. Luke Freeman! And that wasn't far away from a third goal for Bristol City.
You should never, ever let Luke Freeman come inside easy on his left foot. Look at that. Way too easy.
Looks on by Lansbury, away by Baker, and Baker's there again. Back in by Lansbury! How close was that?
It was an outstanding piece of individual brilliance. I mean, they go close a couple of times. Hobbs turns it goalwards, it's headed clear by Baker, but that is an outstanding effort.
Bennett. Failing again. Spacing out for Bennett. And that's Codger! De Vries getting down sharply.
That is a wonderful, wonderful save from Doris De Vries. Gets down low and turns the ball wide.
Wilbraham's in the middle here. Wilbraham again. Incredibly kept out by De Vries.
Maybe, if he had his time over again, he would just simply put his foot through that and blast it as hard as he could.
Well, it was a big win for Bristol City, which took them out of the bottom 3 last night, and the rest of their championship strugglers were in action today. Now, Deepdale was one of a number of grounds up and down the country to mark the death of Howard Kendall at the age of 69. He was best known for his incredibly successful time at Everton, but he began his playing career at Preston, and he also spent time at Blackburn and at Birmingham, and as a manager at Sheffield United and Notts County. Howard Kendall, remembered as a champion, as both a player and a manager.
Now, after respects were paid today, Preston faced Cardiff City. Chris Ford, watch this one.
After 8 league games without a win, Preston were rooted to the bottom of the championship table. They came close to opening the scoring, Tom Clark's header clipping the top of David Marshall's goal. A set-piece looked the most likely way to find an opener in this game. Sean Morrison connected with Peter Whittingham's free kick, but his header was wide of the post. Whittingham then hit a post, Jordan Pickford tipping the midfielder's free kick onto his upright. A point each, and Preston move off the bottom on goal difference.
This Lancashire derby was dominated by the man whose arrival from Brentford has been brilliant business for Burnley. Andre Gray may have cost £9 million, but he looks like he's worth every penny. Sam Vokes has also played his part up front for the Clarets this season, and he almost found the net again. David Wheater, though, had other ideas. Just 1 point away from home for Bolton makes fairly grim reading, and although they continued to find ways to frustrate Gray, the writing was on the defensive wall for Neil Lennon's men. Scott Arfield was the next to try his luck at goal, and when the ball broke to Gray, a 5th goal of the season was a formality. The break certainly went the way of the home side for their second, as Arfield barrelled through 2 challenges. But there was nothing fortunate about the finish from Gray for his second of the contest. The way he settled into life at Turf Moor, you suspect there were plenty more to come. How the visitors could do with a striker like him. They failed to score in over half their league matches this season, and Lady Luck has left them too, as Wheater discovered. Another defeat leaves them rock bottom of the table, and for Bolton, the only way is up.
MK Dons had lost their last 4 in all competitions at home. They needed help if they were to stop the rot. Playing against 10 men for 80 minutes was just what they were looking for. Adam Henley sent off for taking down Josh Murphy. Ben Reeves took control from 12 yards. He sent Jason Steele the wrong way, and for the first time in 9 games, the Dons were in front. It took a full hour to extend that advantage against the 10 men. Murphy again proving to be dangerous against Rovers. His pinpoint cross finding Simon Church. Reeves scored a second in the final minute of the game to help Carl Robinson's side move 3 points clear of the relegation zone and end that terrible run at home.
With both teams struggling for form, this was never going to be a 10-goal thriller. That said, Naki Wells might have put Huddersfield in front, but Christoph Berra was equal to it. The visitors hadn't won at Portman Road for 19 years, but they certainly had their chances to consign that record to the history books. First, Emir Hughes, then Wells and Joel Lynch all found the target just too difficult to hit, although a hug at least made it better. Ipswich will reflect on an afternoon where they created very little. Their best chance of the contest fell eventually to David McGoldrick, and although he hit the target, he couldn't find the back of the net. Chris Powell's side then could enjoy a first clean sheet of the season, but the manager will be less chuffed about James Vaughan's red card. His decision to give Jonas Knudsen a ball in the chops was costly for a player who was making his return after 2 months on the sidelines through injury. Another period of inactivity now beckons.
Here's the table then. Brighton's win at Leeds United, courtesy of that late Bobby Zamora strike, sees them move 4 points clear at the top of the table. Reading have the same points, goal difference and goals scored as Middlesbrough, but move up to second due to their better head-to-head record. Birmingham stay 4th, Burnley move to 5th and Hull drop to 6th after their draw at Sheffield Wednesday. Bolton slip to the bottom of the table after losing at Burnley. They're level on 8 points with Rotherham and Preston, who occupy the other 2 relegation spots. Bristol City and Charlton are 2 points clear of the drop zone.
Now it's your chance to enter our competition. It's great. You don't even have to know stuff to win. We'd like to give you and a friend the chance to be at the heart of the action by winning a pair of Sky Bet Football League match tickets, a signed shirt, a 50-inch LG HD TV and £500 cash to spend as you please, all courtesy of Breathe Sport. So for your chance to win, all you have to do is text football to 65515 or post your name and phone number to Football4, PO Box 7557, Derby DE10NP. Entrance must be 18 or over. Date subject to availability. Text costs £1.50 plus 1 message at standard network rate. Lines close at midday on the date shown on the screen and 3 days later for postal entries. For rules, go to channel5.com/win. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. Now, one managerial appointment in League One this week. Darren Ferguson was presented as the new Doncaster Rovers manager yesterday, although his first match in the dugout will be on Tuesday at Shrewsbury. Fergie Jr. had 2 spells as Peterborough manager. The first saw them promoted all the way from League Two to the Championship. He then spent just short of a year at Preston North End. In his second stint at London Road, Posh were again promoted to the Championship but came back down 2 seasons later. He also guided Peterborough to a Football League trophy final win over Chesterfield last year. Now, reaction to his appointment at Doncaster has been largely positive, as you can see here. Fans impressed with his track record of gaining promotion to the Championship and his style of football. Well, interim player coach Rob Jones remained in charge today at home to Bradford City. And you watched this one, Adam? Yeah, I did, George. And Doncaster, you can just tell at the moment they are really, really short on confidence. And they're lacking goals as well. But for Darren Ferguson, he did well at Peterborough, even though his time there near the end didn't end very, very well for him. So I think he's got a point to prove
how well he can manage away from Peterborough.
Very early goal in this one.
Oh, it's the worst possible start. You know that Evans has got a long throw. They would have worked about that. They would have spoken about it. And it's a disappointing start from them. Ricardo wins the header and Devante Colt carries on his good vein of form.
Yeah,
and
5 in 8, their top scorer.
And this was a chance now from Anderson. Seen it a number of times now. That didn't cross the line.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, John. I'm positive.
It was disallowed. Not for that, but then for the handball.
Yeah, it was a blatant handball afterwards, and then the run continues. I mean, Bradford this season, I thought they'd be doing a lot better than what they're doing, but they've struggled conceding goals and not really got enough goals in the team. Hansen and Cole are scoring goals, but you need more from the likes of Reeds. And this is where Doncaster, I think, are really now struggling in front of goal.
Well, they've failed to score in 6 of their last 11 league games now, which will be a massive concern.
It will be for Darren coming in. Andy Williams there, he scored a lot of goals for Swindon last season, hasn't quite found the back of the net this year. Nathan Tyson, experienced striker, there again. And it's a slight worry for Darren when you take him. Rob Jones didn't have that kind of luck when you take over as the caretaker boss. The likes of David Dunn when he took over at Oldham, he got the run going. Neil McCann at Peterborough. So when a new manager comes in, it always helps with the team and a good momentum, and there's good confidence in the squad. But it's a big job for Darren.
Yeah, so the only goal, Kelly, and back-to-back away league wins for Bradford for the first time since last November.
But Fergie time hasn't started properly yet, and one player who thrived under Ferguson's management in his first spell at Peterborough is our guest tonight, of course, Scotland international Craig McHale-Smith. Craig, what can they expect from Darren Ferguson's style of management?
He likes to get the ball down and pass it, but he also likes to play all-out attack, which kind of suited me when I was playing underneath him. It was a fantastic time of my career. I scored quite a lot of goals and got 3 promotions with him, so they definitely have entertainment at the ground.
How are his man management skills? What's his approach with players?
He's very good. He's very hands-on. He likes to talk to people. He tells them what he wants. So I think he'll get into them and he'll train them hard, and then hopefully he'll get success like he had at Peterborough.
But still, the temper, does it run in the family?
Yeah, he showed it a few times. Yeah, he can get angry, so I think he needs to. He needs the players to know that he's in charge and that it's his way, and he'll show him his temper if he needs to.
Yeah, it could be some fun times ahead in the Doncaster dressing room. We'll see how Craig and Luton got on at Crawley later in the programme. We're just building the tension. But at the top of League One, there were some intriguing results today.
Top of the table, Walsall have only been beaten once in the league in the last 12 games, but it took just 5 minutes for them to go behind today. Across from Chesterfield's Chris Hurd, giving Sylvain Ebanks-Blake his first goal since August. Chesterfield haven't taken 3 points at Walsall in 10 years and have won only 1 of their last 8 games, but a Dan Gardner corner allowed Ian Evatt to head them 2-0 in front. Walsall boss Dean Smith signed a new deal this week, but was powerless to prevent a rare defeat. Some consolation, Matt Preston scoring his first senior goal for the club. Walsall dropped to second.
New Fleetwood boss Stephen Presley's first win for the Cod Army was a significant one. Jamie Proctor's close-range effort helped send Burton tumbling to successive defeats, his 3rd league goal this season. And when Proctor turned provider in the second half for Bobby Grant, the writing was on the wall for Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank's side. Fleetwood's good day at the office improved dramatically when Grant doubled his account. An assist again from Proctor, and it was looking like fish and chips all round at the Highbury Stadium. Fleetwood's worst run as a Football League side was but a distant memory as Ashley Hunter scored his first league goal of the season to make it 4-0. Elvis, quite rightly, all shook up.
Crewe haven't won at home all season. In fact, no points from the last 5 games at the Alexandra Stadium. Adam King coming closest to putting them in front against a strong Gillingham side. It's fair to say that Justin Edwards' side are flying because of their home form, with just the 2 wins on the road, but they are the league's top scorers. Cody MacDonald unable to add to that tally. A survey this week found that Gillingham have the league's cheapest tickets. Rory Donnelly has been on fire for them. He had scored 5 in his last 3 league games, and deep into injury time, he benefited from a fortunate ricochet to send them top of the league, worth every penny.
A Greater Manchester derby that produced plenty of perspiration but not much inspiration in front of goal. Bury took their unbeaten run to 10, but Leon Clark here and Tom Sawers just couldn't open the scoring. Rochdale had their moments too, notably when Scott Tanser's cross was perfect for Peter Vincenti. Goalkeeper Rob Lainton to the rescue for Bury. Late on, it was Bury again hunting for that elusive winner. Clark's header looked like the opener here. Josh Lillis had other ideas. After 6 games in charge, still no win for new Oldham manager David Dunn. Yet there was early optimism when Danny Philliskirk headed them in front from this corner. But Nigel Atkins and his Blades had other ideas. A point was duly secured when Stefan Skugel set up Matty Doan, who unleashed this left footer. Oldham hung on for a draw, despite being reduced to 10 men late on, when Jonathan Byrne was red-carded for a second bookable offence. Referee Kevin Wright in no doubt about the decision.
Now, another bit of news this week. Joe Cole's short-term loan move from Aston Villa to Coventry City. It was registered, though, too late for him to be involved today in their game against Blackpool. Cole has only signed for 5 weeks. This is an emergency loan, but it certainly raised expectations at the Ricoh Arena. Yes, it really is true. Here's Matt Williams again.
A career that's taken him to Stamford Bridge, Anfield and across the Channel now brings Cole to the Ricoh Arena and a Coventry side unbeaten at home this season. Marc-Antoine Fortuné with a chance to put them in front in the first half. Coventry were looking for their 3rd league win on the trot as they chased promotion, and Chris Stokes came close with help from John Fleck. They were up against a Blackpool side who had been struggling but have won their last 3. Only a great save from Reece Charles Cook could deny Jack Redshaw. The last time Blackpool won 4 on the bounce, they were promoted to the Premier League. And Mark Cullen, who scored in his last 2 games, came closest to putting smiles on faces here. A point on the road for Blackpool, but they remain in the drop zone.
Adam, the Coventry Twitter account is fantastic on this because it seems they're as surprised as pretty much everyone else that Joe Cole's ended up at Coventry. So just for a month, just tell us a bit about how it came about.
Well, Tony Mowbray was definitely a pivotal part of why he's got Joe Cole down to Coventry. I'm sure location of Aston Villa and Coventry certainly being a help, and the way that Tony likes to play football, that would certainly suit the way that Joe plays. Coventry are doing well in the playoffs, so he's coming into a squad that's actually full of confidence. Yeah,
and he's been going along to watch a lot of the Coventry matches, so he knows what he's going into. What do you think that Coventry are going to get from Joe Cole that's going to benefit them?
Well, I had it at Colchester when they signed Teddy Sheringham, and he was 41, but you just see how they train, how they act around the training ground, how they prepare for games. And as a youngster, you just try and be like a sponge and just try and soak in as much as possible. You've got a player that's scored in the World Cup, you've got a player that's won the Premier League. He has been there and done it. And you've got an informed striker in Adam Armstrong who will be licking his lips knowing that he's got a quality player, somebody that can create something from nothing. OK, he's not the Joe Cole at Chelsea and Liverpool maybe, but he was certainly had something to this Coventry squad. So
do you think it's more about what he can do in the dressing room, on the training ground, rather than what he can do on the pitch, or will he have something to contribute there as well?
Listen, he will certainly be a big pivotal part on the pitch, but when you've got a young squad and you've got that presence around you in the dressing room, it certainly helps you, and I'm sure Tony will be looking to try and get him in as quickly as possible, whether or not his match fitness is right up there. But it's great to see that Joe's probably now thinking about the second part of his career when it's almost close to ending. And Coventry's a great club. I've played there. It's a really, really good club, and the fans, as you can tell, are certainly going to welcome him.
That's exactly it. It's not just what it's going to do for the players, for the manager, for the team, it's also what it's going to do for the fans, George.
Yes, and we've seen how the top 6 got on today. There's much more to come, though, from Sky Bet League One, and we hope that Leon Barnett has been practising his throw-ins, because the Wigan man's attempt last week at Bury here was an absolute belter. Don't go away.
Hello, welcome back to Football League Tonight. Now, Southend manager Phil Brown was offered the chance to reform his partnership with Sam Allardyce at Sunderland this week, but he turned the job down.
Yes, in a club statement, he said he still has ambitions at Southend and wants to reach 1,000 games as a manager, a target he wouldn't reach if he took an assistant role. So he remained in the dugout for today's visit of Barnsley.
Brown's got a way to go if he's going to reach 1,000. This was number 376, and it didn't get off to the best start when keeper Daniel Bentley brought down Marley Watkins just inside the box. Josh Scowen's only other goal for Barnsley this season came from the penalty spot, and he put them in front here. Southend haven't beaten Barnsley for 20 years in the league, and they were back in it when good work from Miles Weston led to an equaliser from Anthony Wordsworth, his first for the club. Poetry in motion. And just before half-time, Weston again involved. Luke Prosser with his first of the season, and what turned out to be the winner. So another victory for Southend, another step on the long road to 1,000 games for the manager.
Bearded goalkeeping brothers at Vale Park, Ben Alec for Peterborough, Jack for Vale in the first time since the Kelly brothers in the 96-7 season. The Potteries side drew first blood, Byron Moore crossing for Enoch Ando to squeeze home from close range. A joyful first goal for the club. In the second half, Vale ought to have added to their score when Ando was brought down by Ben Alec. But he performed heroics to deny Michael O'Connor. Peterborough upwardly mobile under new boss Graham Wesley, hit back when Suleiman Koulibaly was fouled in the box by Carl Dickinson. Michael Boswick confidently put away the spot kick, his second goal this season. Remarkably, there was a third penalty when Vale's Uche Ikpeazu was sent tumbling in the box by Gabriel Zukwani. Vale missed again. Sam Foley's penalty hit the bar and keeper. Ben Alec won the brotherly battle and the first beer.
Wigan are yet to lose at home in the league this season, and they started well after just 5 minutes. Good work from Yannick Wiltshire, helped by some dreadful defending, allowing Donovan Daniels to open the scoring from close range. Wigan fans will have been nervous, though, with just a 1-goal lead, as they've drawn their last 4 league games. So send for Max Power, who does enjoy shots from outside the box. A fruitful September with 13 points from 15 has become a barren October for Colchester with no points so far. So no surprise when Daniels got his second of the day. Will Grigg is back for Wigan after being part of the Northern Ireland squad that booked their place in the Euros next summer. He scored to make it 4. But the pick of the goals came thanks to a combination of Donald Love and Grigg again to give Wigan their biggest home win in the league for 11 years. Colchester have the worst defensive record in the whole Football League, 27 goals conceded.
On loan Palace youngster Sully Kai just can't stop scoring for Shrewsbury. 2 last weekend, another today. The 20-year-old unleashing this effort from the edge of the box. But the iron, as their name suggests, are made of sterner stuff, and from Paddy Madden's cross, Scott Led's header levelled things up. And Scunthorpe made it 3 wins in a row when Neil Bishop was hacked down by Junior Brown in this scramble in the box. It was a 7th penalty conceded by the Shrews this term. Paddy Madden gleefully made it 2-1 to Scunthorpe, his 8th goal so far this season.
It's been a desperate autumn for Swindon and about to get worse for Mark Cooper. They haven't won since early September, and midway through the first half, Lee Gregory was able to spring the offside trap to put Millwall in front. That's his 4th of the season. Both teams have lengthy injury lists, but Millwall were looking the healthier, thanks to good work from Gregory again, and Aidan O'Brien, like his namesake, riding high. But it was one defeat too many as Swindon announced tonight that they are parting company with Cooper after just over 2 years in charge.
Yes, and confirmation of that has just come in, actually, within the last hour, that Mark Cooper has left Swindon Town. The club released the news via Twitter. They're going to make a further statement, they say, on Monday. It's Swindon's worst start for a decade after reaching the playoff final last season. Mark Cooper has won 4 of his last 24 games in all competitions. When you consider that, Adam Berger, perhaps no surprise, do you have sympathy for him?
Well, you do have sympathy because he took them to the playoff final last year where they lost to Preston, but over the summer he lost the main bulk of his squad. He's lost Nathan Byrne, who was a real class act for him, Andy Williams as well, who had a lot of goals, and you lose 6 out of your last 7, you know the writing's going to be on the wall, especially as a manager today in today's game. You lose that many games in a row, you know it's going to be difficult.
So another one goes, Kelly, and it's a big one Tuesday night when Swindon play Oldham.
Yeah, let's take a look now at the table, starting at the top end, where Gillingham are in pole position after their late win at Crewe. They capitalised on Walsall and Burton both losing today. Elsewhere, Bury's draw with Rochdale sees them stay in 4th. Draws for Coventry and for Sheffield United means that they are also non-movers. And then, of course, at the other end of the table, Crewe's loss to Gillingham means that they are bottom. Darren Ferguson's Doncaster Rovers, 2 points clear above them. They lost to Bradford today. He takes charge for the first time in midweek. Blackpool and Oldham both drew today. They complete the bottom 4, but just above them, they're level on points with Swindon, who are now without a manager, and with Fleetwood. So in the next part, we're going to be seeing matches at the top of League Two. Hello, welcome back. Sky Bet Football League 2 as tight as ever this season. Craig McHale-Smith and Luton were third bottom at the end of August, but they've risen steadily since then, and they were unbeaten in 5 before this afternoon's trip to Crawley.
Well, they started brightly enough in this one too, and should probably have been out of sight by half-time. Luton initially showing exactly why they were League Two's top scorers away from home before the game. First, Football League Tonight's very own Craig McHale-Smith clipped the bar, and a minute later they made their first half dominance count. Sean Long's deep, hopeful cross was steered goalwards by Cameron McGeehan, and Sonny Bradley was unable to head clear off the line. The first ever Football League meeting between these two then turned on its head, as Crawley's top scorer Gwion Edwards was given all the time in the world to get in his cross, met emphatically by Rhys Murphy. And all of a sudden, Crawley had mustered the confidence they've been lacking so often this season. In the end, they were well worth the win as Murphy continued to cause panic in the Luton defence. And Matt Harrold arrived on cue to sweep home the loose ball. An unhappy John Still called Luton's second-half performance the worst 45 minutes of their season so far.
All right, Craig, let's start with that then. Your manager calling it the worst 45 minutes of football from the team so far this season. Can you go along with that as a player?
Yeah, I think second half we were poor. We never got the ball down and passed it. We kind of resorted to long balls, and they're a big team, and they were better at doing that than us. And yeah, in the end they got 2 goals. It was disappointing because we started off so well. We got 1-0 up, and I thought we were going to go on to score a few more, but that's football in that division.
But that's the thing. It was going so well in the first half. What changed in the second half?
I don't know. I just think we didn't, as I say, didn't keep the ball enough. I think we gave them momentum, and they were putting a lot of long balls in and picking up the second balls, and we never got close enough to them, and that ultimately cost us.
That's what John Still is saying publicly, that it was a poor... What's he saying to the players about how you move on from this?
Oh, we've performed very well the last few games. I think we've won 4 out of our last 7, so we've done very well. It's a disappointing result for us because I think we've gone into that game with good form. But we move on. We've got 2 massive games. I think Leyton Orient Tuesday, Plymouth Saturday, so hopefully we can rectify that performance.
Looking forward to the next training session?
That'll be interesting.
It certainly will. George?
He was absolutely gutted, was Craig, when he came in tonight. Let's see some more goals. Plenty of changes already this season at the top of League Two. Mansfield have found some form to move themselves right up there as well. We start our next round up there, actually, with a fiery game against Bristol Rovers.
While Plymouth are leading the pack, it's fair to say Accrington have been the surprise package of the division so far. They should have been at least a goal to the good at half-time. Sean McConville unlucky here to be denied by the post. Plymouth won the game thanks to a moment of real quality shortly after the break. How about this for a brilliantly executed volley? Ruben Reid's 4th goal in his last 3 games.
Referee James Adcock couldn't go the distance at Rodney Parade as injury brought an early end to his afternoon, but there was no stopping Portsmouth or Matt Tubbs. Pompey keep winning on the road and Tubbs keeps scoring. A hat-trick last weekend, followed up with his 6th of the season. Newport have only won once since April, and while Welsh national football is on a real high, they face a huge fight to stay in the division. Mark Byrne came closest to scoring, but he and his teammates face a long season.
Michael Appleton warned his side of the dangers of complacency this week, but they were grateful instead to Orient skipper Mathieu Baudry for teeing up Kemar Roof, who happily tapped in goal number 9 for the season so far. Oxford were showing all the swagger of a team firmly on course for a 5th straight win, before a massive deflection helped John Lundstrom score the 2nd. But Orient were back in it in the space of 2 second-half minutes, as one substitute, Jack Payne, found another in Ollie Palmer, and Jay Simpson stabbed in his 10th of the season already. So game on, and then further cause for concern after the kind of complacency Oxford's manager had warned against. Jordan Graham kicked the ball away to earn a second yellow, and once referee Ross Joyce had remembered which pocket he kept it in, out came the red. Suddenly Oxford with a side hanging on, and hang on they did until another Palmer knockdown this time fell kindly for substitute Scott Cashcott. No time like deep into added time to score your first professional goal.
There were fun and games at the One Call Stadium, where Mansfield's impressive start to the season hit the buffers. Jermaine Easter emphasising Rovers' quality away from home. But his contribution to the cause didn't last the half. A dive that might have earned a straight 6 from the judges actually ended up with a red card. Jamie Maguire made his feelings known, and Easter's reaction to that was penalised as the home side wasted little time in hustling him out of the action. The ill feeling remained and flared into hands, knees and bumps-a-daisy as chaos reigned behind the referee in the area. Christian Pearce was at the heart of it, and as the red mist threatened to descend just about everywhere, the red card eventually found its way to Pearce, who then had to make his way back to the dressing room. He was swiftly followed by Mansfield captain Nicky Hunt, whose challenge on Stuart Sinclair was enthusiastic at best. The referee wasn't impressed, and a second yellow card left the home side with just 9 players. But astonishingly, they rallied and found a way back into it. Ryan Tafazoli with a goal that will linger long in his and our memories. Rovers couldn't quite make their advantage tell, but it wasn't for the want of trying, especially from Ellis Harrison. Because of all the shenanigans, the match had reached the 98th minute when Mansfield were broken, Matty Taylor popping up with his 4th in 4, and Rovers have now lost only once in their last 26 away matches.
Stevenage fans had waited 5 weeks to see their side score a goal at home, so you can imagine their surprise in taking the lead within 10 minutes, especially as it came directly from the boot of goalkeeper Jesse Yorinen. Matt Ingram, the man embarrassed by his opposite number. Ivorian striker Armand Nondouye was proving difficult for Wickham to handle. He did well to steer a Teddy Sheringham-esque header onto the bar shortly before the break, and the 6'4" Ivorian then converted Dean Parrott's corner to double the home side's advantage. It's lucky he did, as Michael Harriman found Max Kretschmar, who pulled one back for Wickham, but this day belonged to the Stevenage goalkeeper.
There was a back pass and I kicked through it. I think the wind took it a little bit, and for the other keeper it was difficult to see the bounce, and I got a first goal in league football.
Didn't look particularly excited about scoring a goal today. Joined an elite club though, Mark Poom, Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah, definitely.
Peter Robinson in there. Let's have another look at this.
Well, I'm pretty sure Matt Ingram will be going to make a cup of tea while we show this one now.
But he doesn't even leather it.
I know. I think, as he said, the wind's taking the momentum. But you just see Matt Ingram, oh, I've got it now. Oops, no, I haven't. Bounces over his head, and yeah, it's not one to remember for him, is it?
Yeah, first goal by a keeper in the top 4 division since Asmir Begovic a couple of years ago. Northampton, meanwhile, started the day just outside the Sky Bet League 2 playoff places. The club, though, has problems at the moment off the pitch. This week they were issued with a winding-up petition from the taxman, and the deadline to pay off a £10 million loan to the local council passed. On the pitch, well, they faced an away game at Cambridge. You had a look at this from Forest, Adam.
And you're just hoping that the financial difficulties off the pitch is not going to affect Chris Wilder's start, because they've started really well this season, Northampton, but today they weren't at the races, and Richard Money's side have been quite inconsistent this season. But Harrison Dunk, I've seen a lot play when they got promoted from the National League. He loves coming in off the line, and when he comes in off the line like that, he's only got one thing on his mind, and that's to get the shot on goal. And they finally deserved the leads. And Barry Core now 7 in 7 is a striker really, really on form. So if they can tighten up defensively, they know they've got a man in form that can hit the back of the net.
He's flying, isn't he? 15 as top scorer for Southend. He's already halfway there.
Well, when Greg Taylor got it, you're just praying. You just need that ball across the 6-yard box. And he got it perfectly, and he took it very, very well. But this has been Cambridge's frailties. It's a poor, poor foul from Cisse. He's not going anywhere. So you know the amount of Cambridge shirts around him, you know, you don't need to make the foul. You have to stay on your feet. Liam Hughes was there maybe to take it off him. And Mark Richards, the man in form for Northampton, took his penalty very, very well.
8 in his last 12 as well.
And this was the red card towards the end for Lawson Darth. More of a karate chop on Harrison Dunk. It's just reckless,
What
stupid.
is that?
It's just needless, reckless, stupid. And it's a certain red card, and that was really the sums up Northampton's day and really summed up their week.
Yeah, for Cambridge, a second win since August and one that ends Northampton's 6-match unbeaten run, Kelly.
Not a great trip for the Northampton fans, but in a moment we're going to look back at some long-distance matches in Sky Bet League 2, where fans really have been piling up the petrol points. Hello, welcome back to Football League Tonight. Now, hats off to away fans in League 2 today, because they've had to travel particularly huge distances to support their teams, none further than the Exeter fans who went to Carlisle.
Yeah, 694 miles to be exact, the distance travelled by those hardy souls, and the closest they came to a moment to cheer all afternoon was when Lee Holmes went close. Carlisle fans, meanwhile, would have been delighted to see Alex Gilead extend his loan at Brunton Park till the end of the season this week. The Newcastle United loanee scored this late winner after good work by Derek Asamoah. Grecians fans not so cheerful on their 350-mile trip home.
Hartlepool had lost 9 from the last 11 in all competitions, so the 200 fans that made the 500-plus mile round trip couldn't have been expecting too much. Captain Billy Painter gave them something to cheer. There was little for Dagenham fans to celebrate. The less said about Jamie Curitan's effort, the better. At least the journey home was short, I suppose.
3 straight defeats in all competitions has really cranked up the pressure on Notts County boss Ricardo Moniz this month. So it was a timely return to form here against Yeovil. Adam Campbell fired the early warning shot here against the outside of the post. Then a first goal in English football for county midfielder Stanley Abora. Yeovil keeper Artur Krysiak didn't stand a chance after the deflection off the wall. And it was pretty clear Abora didn't seem to mind how he opened his account. Yeovil should have known not to have let Isel McLeod have a clear run on goal, and it was a typically assured finish to wrap up a comfortable win. Just a small matter of 400 miles home this time for Glovers fans.
Just one win in their last 9 away matches wouldn't have inspired huge confidence in the York fans contemplating the best part of 800 miles to Barnet and back. And worse fears were confirmed when John Akindi broke his goal-scoring duck with his first in 11 matches. But Route 1 must have made the A1C more inviting for those fans pondering the journey home. Anthony Straker made all the hard yards before giving Michael Coulson the chance to shine with just 10 minutes to go. But Barnet weren't finished. Indeed, there was a touch of finesse about their second. Teed up for Michael Gash to lash his 4th goal in his last 4 home matches, and against his former club too. There was still time for the trusty boot of keeper Jamie Stevens to work its magic as well. When the ball rapidly found its way to Josh Clark, he wasted no time in scoring his first senior goal to halt a run of 3 successive league defeats for Barnet.
Morecambe's fans got their reward for a 537-mile round trip with 7 goals. The home side got the first, though. Andy Barsham twisting his way into a shooting position. The celebration almost as good as the goal, but it was the only time in the game the Dons would be in front. Sean Miller won a penalty just minutes later after an awkward-looking tackle from Semi Ajayi. Miller took it himself to make it 5 goals in 4 games for him. He took that total to 6 shortly after. Having succeeded from 12 yards out, he tried his luck from 35 yards. His dipping shot caught out James Shea in the Wimbledon goal. Alan Goodall extended the lead to 3-1 just before the half-time whistle. His goal actually came in the 9th minute of first half injury time. Jamie Devitt's assist, his 12th of the season. After the break, Wimbledon briefly threatened a comeback with Adebayo Akinfenwa reducing the deficit to just 1 goal. But in the final 10 minutes, Morecambe put the game out of sight. Tom Barkhuizen continued his great run of form. He scored in each of his last 4 games now. His confidence in front of goal showed with a classy finish. Paul Mullen scored the 7th of the game in the 90th minute after being set up by Barkhuizen. Morecambe have now scored 28 league goals, home and away, this season.
Here you go then, here's the table. Plymouth's win over Accrington means they stay 3 points clear at the top of the table. Portsmouth beat Newport to stay second. And Oxford remained third despite giving away a 2-goal lead at Leyton Orient. And Newport are still without a home win. They remain bottom of the league. They're 2 points behind Dagenham and Redbridge, who also suffered a home defeat today. Yeovil's loss to Notts County means they remain a point above the relegation zone.
So when all's said and done, at the end of the day...
Wham bam, thank you Zam, as Bobby Zamora's first Brighton goal for 12 years keeps them top of the Championship.
Thrills, spills and the Gills at the top of League One as Rory Donnelly's injury time winner puts Gillingham on the summit.
And Jess's giant boot helped Stevenage to a vital win in League Two.
Thanks very much, as always, to Adam. Good luck for the rest of the season with Luton. To Craig McHale-Smith, and thanks for joining us. And a quick reminder for all the referees out there, you just take care. It can be dangerous out there. We'll be back next week with Football League Tonight. For now, though, good night.
Good night.